Hello all, welcome to another video. Um, in this video, I want to discuss something that I have also been trying to integrate more in my life, that I've been learning, going um, through life, trying to learn it, as well as implement it effectively. Um, it's called the recipe of life. And the recipe of life is basically just reality itself is the end product, and the recipe that we add to our reality create the reality, the manifestations that we get to see, the desired results that we want. I believe it to be possible that we can achieve whatever we want if we understand the recipe of life. And the recipe is simple as this: thoughts, beliefs, actions, response, routine, habits, and then it cycles back. So your thoughts create your beliefs create your actions then lead to the response that you get from life, because actions are choices, and then routine, we base our life based on the responses that we get from reality, and then we create habits, and then it leads back to having more thoughts, which strengthen our beliefs again, which then become actions, our choices, which then becomes the response we get from reality, and then routines, and then habits. So it cycles. So understanding the recipe of life is essential in creating the reality that we would like to see. And yes, there are factors that are out of our control. We can't control how people think about us, how they behave, their choices. That's out of our element. But we can control the um, the recipe. We can control our thoughts, the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about others. If we have control over our thoughts, or if we look at our thoughts objectively as just thoughts, then we have better management over rearranging our beliefs. And when we can rearrange our beliefs, we can then change our actions, the things that we do day to day, our choices that we make. And when we change our choices, or when we make better choices, you start to see that life responds differently. People respond differently to you, which then creates better routines. You want to continue it, right? And then it leads to habits. They say that it takes 21 days for something to become a habit. So the recipe of life starts here. It really starts here in your mind. The mind is more than just a concept. It's more than just something theoretical. It's an actual tool that our ancestors were able to harness and implement to its fullest power by understanding that it's more than just the like everything around you that you see was once an idea. Technology, everything you see, buildings, roads, cities, was once from someone's mind, and it became a reality. And we base our life based on the cities and the environment that we live in. It rearranges how we live as well as our belief systems as a culture. Things change. It's called programming. And understanding the recipe of life can help change the programming, or the conditioning, to a desired result. And I'm not a master at this at all. I'm not trying to preach like I know this, but I'm learning it as I go along. And it's been a hell of a ride. Some things, they just take time and effort, but understanding the recipe of life is a good guideline to see how to get there. So yeah, the recipe of life: thoughts, beliefs, actions, the response, routines, habits. These things are all interconnected. They're all cohesive, mutually strengthening, relying upon one another. So if there is a result that you don't like, it can be changed by looking at the certain recipe that you may think is causing it, like our thoughts. If you don't like the response that we're getting from life, then change your thoughts, right? Change your thoughts. It's possible, because the thoughts that you have right now, it's a program. It can be turned off like a TV. It can be changed and it can be switched. You have the power to change that, you know. So we can change our thoughts to a desire that we want, which then will create the beliefs about ourselves, which then will determine our actions. And sometimes these things, we may need to switch them here and there, they're not always in that order. Sometimes we need to just take action and stop thinking to create, to strengthen our beliefs. Sometimes people just need that, or there's others that may need to sit down and think first and then approach things in a different perspective or a different manner. So it just really depends on what works for you. For me, I'm an overanalyzer. I ruminate so much. So for me, the best approach is to just stop thinking, not believe my thoughts, and then just take action and just go for it, which then changes my belief about myself, which then changes my thoughts, right? And then it changes the response I get from people. Not that I can control their response, as said before, because you can't control other people, but it changes my focus on what I believe that their response is, how they're treating me, because it's just a shift in perspective. It's just a shift in focus. So yeah, so those things, if implemented in a healthy, productive, guided manner, I think can make all the difference. And I'm learning it. I'm not a professional at all. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a religious advocate in any way. You know, I'm not a guru. I just try to use what I think is just best for me. And if it doesn't work out, we can switch. You know, Sometimes changing thoughts can also mean just switching what isn't working for us to something that is working for us. Switching plans, adapting. But basically, the recipe of life is I think is a pretty good starting point to kind of see how things are going for you, and if it's something that you don't like, or if it's something that you do like, you can always rearrange and shift thoughts, beliefs, actions, responses, routines, and habits. We can change those things, you know. So, recipe of life. Try to practice. Try to organize it on your own terms. That's pretty much it for this video.